Hello, hello. This is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas from scientifichealer.com. Today I'm going to talk about how to change your habits and why it is so hard to. So, say hello, put any comments or questions in the box, and I will get back to you with answers. So today, a lot of us try to change our habits, whether it's an eating habit or a chewing your fingernail habit or just a poor habit, no exercise habit, or not drinking enough water habit. And a lot of people try to change everything all at once. And you might have heard all of the lore about how after 21 days you've established a new habit. That is actually not true. And the reason I know this is because I work with basically hundreds of clients every year, sometimes even in the thousands, depending on whether I do work with groups or not. But I work with hundreds of clients and I know the way energy works. Okay, so your habits are not only established in your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind, which is where the powerful place is. And the subconscious mind runs the autonomic body. So here's the geeky science part. The subconscious runs the autonomic body and it gets us to do things without thinking. This is a habit. So it's just like where you store your silverware. You don't have to think, oh, that's the drawer where my silverware is. You just automatically reach for it to get your spoon or fork out. Now, here's another thing. If you change the drawer to the next one over, you will continually reach for the old one over and over again. That's the power of your subconscious mind. And when I work with clients, it takes about 90 days for the energy to establish new energetic pathways. So it's really important to understand this. And the reason why it's really important is that it's actually your subconscious mind. That's how long it takes for it to establish a new habit. It's just like when you use affirmations. So the conscious mind is the gatekeeper, and it is only 0.0002% of your entire mind. So in other words, the conscious mind takes in about 40 bits per second, while the subconscious mind can process 40 or 4 million bits per second. So you see that it is a very small portion of the conscious mind is a very small portion. And it acts like I said, it acts like the gatekeeper. And in order to get the conscious mind out of the way, you have to keep repeating something over and over again until the conscious mind finally gives up. So I've heard some people say that we have only so much willpower per day. And some people have more, some days I have more, some days I have less, but it's the habits, the subconscious habits running the autonomic body, in other words, that will make you reach for the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. Or when you wake up in the morning, you swore to yourself you'd get up and do something, and I do this actually quite often. You'd swear you'd do something every day, and even if it only takes 5 or 10 minutes, and it just simply doesn't happen. And the problem is that we try to run our entire day on conscious thinking, and it's better to develop a habit to let your subconscious run it rather than your conscious mind. And that is because the energetic pathways in your body take about that long to reprogram. That's why when I work with people individually or even in groups, like I have a group program, when I work with people in groups, I want them in there for at least 90 days and get them to do one thing. So we just switch one thing every week. That's actually too much. We should just add one thing per month. And that would mean, for example, today you decide you're going to drink more water. So you set your alarm, and every 2 hours, let's say, you drink a glass of water, and by the end of the day you've had your 8 or 10 glasses of water, depending on how big the cup that you drink is. And you just continue to do this every month. I did this when I first started drinking a lot of water, I didn't know that my body was so thirsty. So every 2 hours, I would drink one at 8, I would drink one at 10, I would drink one at noon, and so on. And I just set the alarm every 2 hours, and every 2 hours, I would make sure I had a good portion of water down, just plain, clear, filtered, healthy water. Okay, so after a while, it got to be a habit. So when I didn't have the water, I would get thirsty. And if you don't tend to drink water, you don't feel the thirst. So once your body gets in the habit, it starts missing whatever you started doing. So establishing one habit at a time is the way to do it. And like I mentioned, when you switch your silverware drawer, I have a little story for that. Many years ago, before I quit drinking coffee, we just moved into a new house, and I had the coffee pot on one little countertop. I had a very small kitchen and one little countertop, and I had put the coffee filters in another. And then I thought, oh, it would be a smart idea to switch the coffee filters to right over the coffee pot. Like that's obvious, right? So it was 2 months in the old cabinet, and I switched them to the new cabinet. And it took me a full 2 years before I wouldn't kind of like stumble into the kitchen and open the correct cabinet. Like I would remember most of the time. I'd walk in, consciously remember, and open it. But sometimes I would just lean over and reach for the old cabinet, right? That's the power of habits. And like I said, it can take 90 days, it can take longer. Just understand and be patient with yourself, and don't kick yourself in the rear end for not remembering to do something. It is how powerful your subconscious mind is. So today what we figured out, it's not the conscious mind that develops your habits, it's the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind will get tired after trying to remember all the time, because it is actually running your day. Like, oh, now I'm going to have breakfast, and now I'm going to go for a walk, or now I'm going to do these, whatever habit it is. And once you start switching the habit, like I've been in the habit of getting up and going through my email first thing in the morning. Now, let's say I wanted to do something else, what I would end up doing is I'd be opening the computer first thing in the morning, and it would take me a while to go, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing that, and shut the computer. So the conscious mind can get worn out and tired. So we want to start establishing one new habit at a time, and give yourself time, like 30 days at least, to develop. And make sure you continue to do it for at least 90 days until the subconscious mind starts developing new energetic patterns that are forming in your body, right? So that's the difficulty. Now, why do we have habits? Well, imagine when you have that little amount of computing power that we have at our disposal, the conscious mind. When we have that little bit of computing power, we don't want to overrun it with our daily needs or daily habits or whatever. We want to use it for breaking new ground into different areas. And that's what it was designed for. So it's a good thing that you establish habits, and the more habits that you can establish that are good habits over time, the more habits, the better. And it's really, really, really easy to revert to the old habits because the body remembers. Like we have what we call muscle memory. So if you've ever worked out and built up a lot of muscles, you can go in the gym again and just do a little bit of exercise, and your muscles remember, and it's really easy to build them back up again, right? That's muscle memory. You remember, your muscles remember that it could lift heavy weights and could build up, right? And it's also like riding a bike. You have a muscle memory where, you might not ride a bike for 40 years, but if you ever learned, you know how to do it. Your muscles know how to balance yourself on the bicycle, right? So you'll remember those old habits. And so it's to be conscientious and conscious of your new habits and not to fall back in the trap of the old habits. And it does take energy, and it does take power, and it does take effort. And some days I go, oh, I just don't feel like making myself that salad. And then I just sit there and then I think, okay, I'll get up and do it. Because I know that every day that I break the habit, every day that I don't do it, is another day that'll let me fall back into the muscle memory of having done it. So if you have any questions, please put your questions in the box. So there's two things. One thing that's a really good habit to get into is to take time in the morning to reflect or to meditate. And often I do this while I'm out walking, but if I don't walk, I'll take some quiet time to do that for myself and let my mind just wander. And if you don't want to do that, then doing some good energetic hygiene on yourself is a really great idea. And there are a couple of ways that I do this. One of them, I have a little 11-minute Wake Up Your Brain audio. You can get it on the front of my website, scientifichealer.com. You can go directly to the link. There's the first link. If you go on my website is Wake Up Your Brain. You can get it right from there. Or there is another thing. There's 8 different factors that are really important for your health and your well-being, and it is the article called "The Ultimate Guide to Health, Wealth, and Relationships," and those are the 8 factors. And in there, you can decide. Everybody knows which one thing is really important for them. The one thing that's really important will be the one thing that you need to take care of and develop a new habit for. So let's say it's relationships. So now we've cleared your relationship. There's ways to clear them up. Once you've cleared your relationship, now you have to be vigilant to make sure that you are still staying energetically clear with that relationship. Or let's say it is you decided that you need to express yourself more creatively. So take 5 or 10 minutes a day and do something really creative. You know, whether it is to move a picture from one wall to another, or it is to, draw a quick sketch, or it is to sing a song, just something that's creative. So now you're going to establish little habits like this that will help you move forward. And I've reserved time on my calendar for anyone to connect with me. And that connection you can get at my website, scientifichealer.com/appointments. And that way you can reach out and we can have a discussion on how you can live your best life ever, especially in the areas of health, wealth, and relationships. Thank you so much. If you have any comments or any questions, please put them in the question box. Love to have a conversation with you, and have a great time until next week on the next Raise Your Frequency.